Hey guys, Stephen Hurd with Keller Williams Real Estate here in beautiful Orange County, California. And I am here with John Hand. John, tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're at in the country.
My name's John. I'm on the Suit Guys KW team, and we are in the Salt Lake area in northern Utah.
Awesome. What's the weather like in Utah today?
Probably not beautiful by your standards, but it's like high 50s, low 60s, and cloudy here. It's gorgeous.
Good. That's awesome. It's a hot day here. We're at about 75. So beautiful. So let's dive right into it. Let's get some seller objection handling. So today we're going to be covering, will you cut your commission? We have another agent to interview after you. And lastly, I want to price it high so that I can just come down later. So I'll go ahead and hit you with the cut your commission objection. So, John, I like you. You're a sharp guy. Looks like you've got a nice suit. You wear nice glasses. I mean, I think you're a great guy. But, will you cut your commission? I mean, come on. It's 3% is pretty high.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you a question here. Have you been talking to other agents that have said they're going to cut their commission? Because most of the time I find that's the case when someone asks me that.
Yeah, I've spoken with a few agents and, to be honest, you're the highest.
Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from, but let me ask you a quick question. If someone's trying to sell you a service and they're not a great negotiator, what do you think the first thing they're going to do to try and sell you on their service is going to be?
They're probably going to lower their price.
Right. So as lowering their price, they're giving away their money and they're showing you their negotiating abilities, aren't they?
Yeah, that makes sense a little bit, yeah.
So I've got one more question for you. If they're willing to just give their money away and not negotiate for it, what do you think they're willing to do for your money?
Well, I mean, don't homes just kind of sell themselves these days? I mean, you throw it online and, doesn't it just kind of sell itself?
That is a common misconception these days because everyone says things are moving so fast. But would you be shocked to hear that the average days on market is actually climbing even with homes moving fast? If you're not listing it right and doing the correct things, your home could sit on the market for months.
Really?
Yes. So that's why it's important to do the right thing and sign the paperwork with us tonight, because I'm sure you feel as comfortable and confident as I do that we can sell your home quickly and meet your goals to get you onto that next one, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Well, is there anything other than what we've discussed already that would have kept you from signing the paperwork tonight?
We just have one more interview after you, John. So, why don't you give us a call, let's say Friday?
Okay. Well, let me ask you another question then. You say you have one more interview, but we've already agreed that I can meet all your needs and get your home sold. So why is it that you're holding on to that other interview? Is it just because it's already been set?
Well, yeah, I mean, we feel a little bit obligated. We told them we were going to meet with them.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you really don't want to make that uncomfortable conversation and tell them that you've chosen to hire me already to sell your home, correct?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Well, let's do this, and I don't mind, because since we've already agreed that I can meet your needs, you really don't want to waste that agent's time by having them come out and present to you when you're already going to sign with me, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can make that uncomfortable call for you and let them know that you guys have chosen to move forward with me, and that then they can spend the time with their family or putting it back into their business. Now, doesn't that sound like a win-win for everybody?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay, perfect. Let's do this. Let's sign the paperwork right now. And what is that agent's name and phone number? And I'll step out and give them a quick call.
Their name is Stephen Hurd with Keller Williams.
Oh, okay, I know Stephen. I'll give him a call.
Awesome, man. Great job. Liked how you handled it. You kept your composure. You asked some good questions and handled it pretty well. Any comments you want to make on that?
I stumbled a couple times. The one that I've said it before and I always catch myself right as I say it. Is there anything other than what we've already discussed that would keep you from signing?
Yes.
I believe it's supposed to be, is there anything else that would keep you from signing the paperwork tonight when you see hesitation with them when they really don't want to sign? And I always throw that other than everything we already discussed, and that gives them the opportunity to jump back to the objection I've already handled. So I always get real frustrated when I say that.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, great job on that. So why don't you go ahead and give that one to me?
Same objection?
Yeah, same sequence and objections.
Okay, perfect. You know, Stephen, I really like what you're doing, and it looks like you've got a great plan here. But, we have to ask, would you cut your commission? Because, 3% is just a lot, honestly.
Yeah, you know what? I agree, John. 3% is a lot. If it's not an investment that's going to make you more money, I can completely agree. It sounds like a lot of money. You know what? I'm curious. What's important to you about having an agent who offers you a lower percentage?
We've heard that homes just sell no matter what you do these days. So if we're really just going to list it and it's going to sell anyways, we might as well list with the cheapest agent, right?
Absolutely. So what you're hearing is, all homes just kind of sell when they go on the market. And if the homes just sell themselves, then why would I pay a realtor, X amount percentage more?
Exactly.
You know what? That's a really valid point. Would it be okay if I shared with you some data from our local multiple listing service?
Yeah, of course.
So as you can see, your home's in Mission Viejo, and it's priced at about $550,000. Now there are 60 other homes available that were listed by the beginning of this year. Do you know how many of them have sold, John?
Well, probably most of them.
That's what most people would think. Actually, 16 of them have sold, and the 16 that did sell took on average 3 price reductions.
Wow.
Do you know what that means, John?
No, what's that mean?
That means about 44 sellers had the same belief that you did, that I'm just going to put my home on the market and it's going to sell itself. And the agent who was leading the ship and they put their trust in, put it on at the wrong price, didn't negotiate for them, didn't advertise. And guess what happened? They're going to have to relist the home in a month or two and have a whole new marketing campaign. Now, what do you think buyers are going to think when they relist the home?
Well, gosh, there must be something wrong with that home if it didn't sell the first time.
Right. There's got to be something wrong with the property if it's not selling. Is that how you want people to feel about your property, John?
Absolutely not.
So let me ask you a question. If you were going to be going into court and you were going to be going, in a lawsuit with someone, do you think the highest paid attorneys are better at negotiating than the lowest paid attorneys?
Definitely.
Definitely. Now, but isn't the law the same?
Yeah, it is.
It is, right? But we know that when somebody is a good negotiator, they can influence the situation to help protect their client and get them better price, better terms, and a better experience. And I'm sure you want all of those. Isn't that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Can you tell by my confidence that I can get your home sold for more money?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Awesome. Let's do the right thing and go ahead and get started tonight. What was the correct spelling of your first name?
Well, we actually have a meeting with another agent here in about an hour and a half. We're told to interview multiple agents. Is there any way we can just chat again tomorrow morning to get all the paperwork taken care of? We already have them coming out.
You know what? I'd be happy to go over the paperwork with you tomorrow morning. I'm curious. Do you feel that the marketing plan I've laid out is going to cause your home to sell?
Yes.
And are you confident in my local real estate knowledge that I can guide you through this process and help you make the best decision possible?
Yeah, you're very knowledgeable.
Do you think hiring an agent who doesn't have my skills, doesn't have my experience, could actually end up in a bad situation for you?
Yeah, especially with how many homes are sitting on the market.
Definitely. So let's do this. Before that agent spends all this time preparing, driving out here, touring your home, trying to please you, just to find out that you've decided to list with me, let me go ahead and give him a call, let him know that you made the right choice, and take that burden off your back. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, we can do that.
Perfect. What's their name and phone number?
It's Sean Johnson with Keller Williams.
Sean Johnson. Okay, cool. All right, well, go ahead and initial here and I'll get started today. That way we can get you to your next destination in about 30 days or less. Won't that be great?
Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead and sign here. Cool.
I love that. I'm actually going to go back and watch this video and write that whole script down. That was amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm I have a YouTube channel, and I'm now uploading all the role plays onto my YouTube channel, Stephen Hurd's Real Estate Scripts and Tips. So I'll put this on there, and I'll drop a link for the YouTube channel for anyone who's watching it. And anyone who's watching it from YouTube, make sure to go to my Facebook group, Role Playing and Scripts Mastery with Stephen Hurd. Okay, cool. So let's move on to, I want to price it high so I can come down later, right? And before I handle this script, you guys, let's just be a little bit fair. All of us have that in our blood. I want to price it high and come down later. If you're selling your home, you want to price it high because you don't want to leave room to negotiate. It's very tricky to get an exact science for pricing depending on where you're at in the country, right? Some places it might be, hey, this is what they sell for. But in Orange County, it's weird. One home sells at this price, and then another home comes and it sells at a totally different price because the buyer liked the backyard or whatever, right? So with that context in mind, there's no perfect answer, but John, would you like to handle this one, or do you want me to cover this one?
I'll let you cover this one.
Awesome. So go ahead and give that to me.
Stephen, I really like everything you're doing, but the price is just a little low for us. We were pretty set on listing and getting 600 out of the home.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, John, thank you for complimenting and being appreciative of what I'm doing. It's glad that you recognize that I spent a lot of time making sure that this presentation fits your needs. When it comes to pricing, what we're really talking about is what's happening in the market, right? It's not necessarily my opinion or your opinion, but it's what the buyers in the market are looking at when they're touring homes and comparison shopping your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, what do you think, based on the market data that we have here, what do you think a buyer is most likely to pay for your home?
Everything you're saying is saying about 580, but we're really hoping to get 600. Is there any way we can just list up there? If it doesn't work, we can always drop the price later, right?
That's a really good question, and it's something that I really like to educate my clients about. But first things first, you can see based on the data in the market, if I weren't here or if no realtor were here looking at this data, it's probably around 580. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If you and your wife, John, were out house shopping and you were looking at properties and you found one that was nice, but the price was way out of your budget, okay? What would you do mentally when you walk into that home, knowing that you're shopping with you and your wife?
Well, if we can't afford it, I'd probably just check out and take a quick look and leave.
You'd probably check out, take a quick look, and leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is that?
Well, there's no point looking if it's over our price range.
Right. You don't want to look at it if it's too far above your price range. Mm-hmm. So that's what happens, John, when you price a home too high, okay? The husband knows my wife's going to get super excited, right? So he's emotionally checked out. The wife doesn't want to really get too excited because she knows it's the budget. So she checks out. And the one thing that we want to do as marketers, we want to get them emotionally attached to the home. We want to get them to fall in love with it so they pay the highest possible price and they stay in the escrow process. Okay, just because they pay a high price doesn't mean they're going to stick with us till the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So can you see, if we price it too high, we could actually be shooting ourselves in the foot and causing people to block themselves off from getting emotionally attached to the property, which in the end wouldn't make you any additional money. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking at homes, John, and one was for sale for $600,000, another for $580,000, and another for $575,000, what price would you offer?
I'm sorry, say that again. I had a hard time hearing you.
If you were looking at properties and you and your wife were searching and you found one at $600,000, another at $580,000, and another at $575,000, what would you be likely to offer on the $600,000 home?
Probably closer to the $580,000, $575,000-ish mark.
Right. You'd still come in at about fair market value, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So let's do the right thing. Let's go ahead and price it according to what the market indicates. That way we can get the most amount of buyers who not only look at the property, but they fall in love with it. And then from there, our goal would be to negotiate the best price and have them stick in the process. Won't that be great?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and sign the paperwork and we'll get started today.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Any feedback
Awesome.
on that one?
No, that was great. I like the tie to the emotional side of it.
Yeah, one of the things that I like to do with this one is just illustrate that, listen, when you price it too high, and most of my clients will admit it, people will walk in and they'll be emotionally detached. That is not the buyer we want to enter escrow with. We want to enter escrow with the person who's like, honey, I got to have this home. This is the one, right? That's the person who's going to stick through to the end because, the pre-approval process, the inspection, the termite, everything is so emotionally exhausting and there's so many unknowns that they'll get scared and they'll back out. If they feel like they overpaid, they'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to stick with this. Cool?
Very cool. I do have time if you want me to handle that one too.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a little bit different approach on that one.
Hit us with it. John, like I said, I like you. I see the fancy suits you and your team wear. I think you guys are sharp people, but you know what? I just want to list high and come down later. I'm a salesman. I negotiate, and I know that, if I list high, I can leave room for negotiation.
Perfect. I totally understand what you're doing with that because I sold my own home about 2 years ago, and I ended up overpricing it by $15,000. And I realized it a couple days later, but I'd already wasted my prime time in selling on the market, and it took me an additional 40 days to get it under contract.
Wow.
Did you know that when a home is listed, the prime time to sell it, your chances of selling it are in the high 90% the first 4 days on market? And if this were a graph, it actually drastically drops days 5 through 11 and then flattens out. I believe it's around 15% for the rest of the time. So
you're saying the longer my home is on the market, the less likely it's going to sell?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's actually two other things to be careful of too. Homes that have to have a price drop when they sell take about 2 to 3 times as long as homes that are priced correctly when they do hit the market to finally close an escrow. So with an average of about 40 days, you're looking, if you have to do a price drop by listing high and trying to come down later, at spending anywhere between 80 to 120 days on market. Now, that's a little scary, isn't it?
Yeah, that can't happen. I mean, my house in Texas where I'm relocating, I mean, I have to close escrow in the next 2 months.
Yeah, and I know you guys are in a hurry, and I also know that you need to sell for top dollar, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can't, we're going to use all this money to buy the next home, and we need to do some renovations and some updates to it. So, we're not trying to be greedy, but I need to get as much out of it as I can.
Right. Well, did you know that your chances of getting a full price offer actually drop with every week we remain on the market? And if we remain on the market 12 weeks, we only have a 9% chance of getting a full price offer.
9% chance, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what? You're the expert, John. What price?
So I'm glad you agree and see the stats here. I think we should really list at 560. By listing at 560, I don't believe we'll ever have to have a price drop conversation, and I think we'll sell your home at top dollar quickly for you. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. I got to get to Texas and get the heck out of here.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's get this paperwork signed and get rolling on this so we can get you guys out of the state.
Okay, let's do it. Great job, John. That was awesome. I love the way you handled it. You kept a calm tone throughout. You didn't let I was trying to be a little bit of a jerk to kind of throw you off. I don't know if you kind of felt that, but
that didn't come across at all.
I was kind of acting like a know-it-all, Oh, I negotiate. I'm in sales.
Yeah.
You did a great job. You asked some questions. You answered. And you gave a lot of really valid points. So great job on that.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Cool. And one thing I will say in summarizing this, when it comes to the price conversation, a lot of times your ability to sell the home will be determined by the conversations you have about pricing in the beginning. So sometimes this person may be motivated to sell and they might say, I just really want to start at this price. You say, okay, well, you know what? It's your home. So we're going to go ahead and start at that price. And my full, experience and marketing force is going to back you and go full force at it. Having said that, in about 2 weeks, if we're not getting X amount of showings and X amount of offers, it's likely that we've really overpriced the home. At which point we're probably going to have to lower it to about 560 at that point. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Okay, great. So that way you've got them to pre-commit to a price reduction.
It's always best to set those expectations up front, because if you're having that conversation, you haven't prepped them for it, then you're going to look like the bad guy by overpricing. But if you say it up front, it's no big deal because they expect it to happen when they aren't getting those showings.
Definitely. All right. Great job, John. I know you got an appointment, so we'll let you go. Thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure to comment below what you liked about it. Click like on this video, and any objection handlers you would like to see done in the group, comment and let us know so we can handle them. See you, bud.
Thanks, guys.